Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Five Star Joshi Show here on the Fight Game Media Network and, of course, my YouTube channel. I am your host, Scott Edwards, and we are here with a packed week of Joshi conversation. It seemed like everyone ran an important show this week, so I'm happy to dive in and talk about all of it. Stardom had 4 shows, Oz Academy had a show, Sendai Girls had 2 shows, Marigold had 2 shows as well. Only got to go watch 1 because I've been watching so much, working on, of course, the newsletter, which if you didn't hear last week, if you missed last week's episode, the Joshi Informer is now live. Each and every Friday, we bring to you the best from the world of Joshi in one exclusive newsletter, free to everyone. So that will be out to this Tuesday. I'll be posting about that on all the socials and so on. It was a great week, trust me. So you're going to want to check that out as well. But now I'm here to kind of talk about everything that we've watched all together and get prepared for the next week because there's a lot of good stuff coming up in next week and the week after and so on. You know, TJPW ran their Max Heart tournament final. We'll talk about that and the 4 big matches that they've announced for Grand Princess. Grand Princess is looking like their best show to date for that specific branding. So I'm very excited for that. Yeah, if you can't tell, overall, I'm just very excited about Joshi. So far in 2025, I think there's a discussion to be had that this is just like the best time to be a Joshi fan in a long time. Like when I obviously started the show with Parker back in the day, Stardom was red hot heading in. It was 2021, having an incredible year. But you know, the same couldn't always be said for the rest of the scene. This is the first time I think that I can confidently say I feel like the entire scene is just hitting home run after home run after home run. Everything you want to see everything. It's a beautiful thing. That's why on this show we are trying our best to cover everything that we can. I'm only one guy. I can watch so much, but I think I've watched most of it this week so that we can talk about it and celebrate it. So that's what the 5 stars is all about. It's only right, of course, that we do start our show over in Stardom because, like I said, 4 shows to get through. That's a lot. So let's dive right in. Now, shall we? Stardom was on the road this week with shows in Kobe, Yamaguchi for Mayu Iwatani's homecoming show, Hiroshima, and Osaka. So a lot of shows, some big matches here and there. We'll quickly talk through them and give you kind of the highlights from each show as much as we can because you know I don't think every match is one that you have to go out of your way to see, but I do think that there were some really quality matches throughout this show. So we'll go to the first show in Kobe, which was the homecoming show for Aya Sakura. Aya Sakura, we'll talk about here in a second, just the star that she has become. She's just an incredible, incredible wrestler. And this was another big opportunity for her to further tell her story. The show started off with the Cosmic Angels, Tenkan, Natsupoi Seriano, and Yuna Mizumori defeating Mayu Iwatani, Momo Kogo, Hazuki, and Koguma. A lot of the story for this match is they are, you know, furthering Yuna Mizumori's chase for the high speed championship. So her, you know, getting the best of Momo Kogo is part of that story. Next up was Starlight Kid and May Sarah defeating Kira Kuragane and Yuria Hime. You know, for a match that is, you know, the 2 rookies, right? Um, they're making the strides. They're making the necessary strides you want to see from them, and it's really exciting considering how new they are, right? You don't really need them to be making strides this quickly, but it seems like both of them are, and that's great to see. Naba and Ruaka defeated Rana Yagami and Sayaka Karara. EXV's Micah, Rian, and Hanako defeated Azumi, Suzuki, and Miyu Amasaki. Hanako got the pin over Amasaki heading into their Future of Stardom title match on the Osaka show. Then we get to Hanan versus Aya Sakura. This is the match that really jumped out to me. Going into it and coming out of it, I thought this was the best match on this show. It was a chance for Aya Sakura to again show how much she's evolved. She had a great overall weekend. I thought her and May Sarah had some good bits in their tag match in Hiroshima. But this was another match where I watch her and it's incredible the strides she's made. Obviously, this time last year, um, you know, she I think was still out with the injury. And ultimately, that injury that she suffered really made her kind of out of sight, out of mind for a lot of us. And when she came back, obviously she came back very different, joining Cosmic Angels. Now she is without a doubt the best rookie in the promotion, and she just keeps getting better and better. So putting her in big singles matches against someone like Hanan, who obviously I'm a big fan of and sing the praises of, this is how she's gonna again keep getting better and better and better. The beauty of this match, I think, for Aya Sakura maybe wasn't the offense, but the survival and having the Kobe crowd behind her for the match. It was very special to see that for her and see her getting the cheers that she did. I think I think sometimes when it's not, a main eventer per se, when they do the homecoming matches, you kind of can overlook how nice and awesome it can be to see these wrestlers together and see these wrestlers get celebrated in their hometowns. We've been seeing it, of course, when we do the Tochigi shows for the sisters, but Aya Sakura, anytime they go back to Kobe, she's going to be the hometown favorite, and I think that's really, really cool. She was able to kick out of the Hanan special, but ultimately lost to the backdrop driver to lose, or the backdrop hold. My apologies. So it was a very strong match here. Then in the main event, it was Saya Kamatani, Konami, Natsuko Tora, and Momo Watanabe defeating Shuri, Tomoka Inaba, and Lady C, as Saki Kashima had to miss the 4 shows due to poor health. So we're wishing her the best in her hopeful return. The next show, as you can see here, the graphic has changed. Of course, Tam Nakano instead would step in to replace Saki Kashima in Mayu Iwatani's homecoming match. The Mayu Iwatani triumphal return match. This was a fun show, as you'd expect when you have a big Mayu Iwatani homecoming main event featuring the pomp and circumstance behind that. So let's dive into the show a bit. Starlight Kid Suzuki and Akira Kurigane defeated Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, and Yuri Hime. Yuna Mizumori defeated Rihanna and Zusa Naba, the continuation of Yuna Mizumori making steps. A match that I thought really stood out for me was Mei Sarah and Miyu Amasaki defeating Hana and Momo Kogo. You can forget about the greatness of the feud between Hanan and Mei Sarah. And when I say you could forget, it's because, Stardom hasn't gone to it. They had the one match at New Blood West 1 in 2023, and they've continuously hinted at this feud. They've continuously gone back to this feud within tags, but they've never gone to the big match. And I think that's fascinating because they have such incredible chemistry. And honestly, simply put, it's just a match you want to see. It's a match that I think everyone should want to see. I know it's one that I've been asking for. And listen, while it's not going to happen in its official form, I think anytime soon, what we are going to get is it via the tag title match in Tochigi in 2 Mondays from now on that Path of Thunder pay-per-view. And I think that's what matters the most. We'll fix the graphic here. So here is Tam Nakano alongside Mayu Iwatani, stepping up, by the way, to do 2 matches in one night with Saki Kashima out. So much appreciation to her. But yeah, this Mei Sarah and Miyu Amasaki versus Hana and Momo Kogo tag, 9 minutes and 7 seconds. Really, really good. I honestly think it's worth checking out. After that, you had Hi Mate defeat Cosmic Angels, Aya Sakura, and Sayaka Carrara. A big moment in this match with Sayaka Carrara accidentally hit Aya Sakura with a spear, which led to the finish of Aya Sakura getting pinned. So it continues the idea of discontent between the two. It continues this idea of maybe Aya Sakura is going to be the X for hate on the Path of Thunder show, because we still don't know who Saya Kamatani's partner will be against Tam Nakano and Sayaka Carrara. We still have no idea, and I think that's very important and fascinating. I don't know if I want Aya Sakura in hate. I think Aya Sakura is so good in her role, but I'm also not against it. I think Aya Sakura is someone who, again, is so good that she can thrive in whatever role they put in. And considering the push hate gets, maybe it will be big for Aya Sakura to kind of take the spot that Sayaka Carrara has been teased for with that group. So, anyways, um, I thought that the main event between Mayu Iwatani and Tam Nakano defeating Momo Oz was kind of that emotional heartstring puller. If you are a fan of the story between Mayu and Tam, if you are a fan of Momo Oz, which I am a fan of both, it was really the ultimate main event for a big time homecoming match. You know, this isn't the best match you'll probably see all week, but it is one of the most enjoyable, most fun. There are moments in this match, of course, where Momo and Asumi not really on the same page. Momo attacks Mayu Iwatani during the streamers moment, which was a heartbreaker. Obviously, the streamers moment's always the best moment on Mayu's homecoming shows. Um, but when Momo Oz are working together for the few times in this match, you're just reminded how truly incredible they are as a duo. You're reminded that this duo is, one of the great tag teams that Stardom has had over the past decade. They didn't ever get the tag belts, but they were sensational as a duo. And it still saddens me that they never got the tag belts. And then you have Tam and Mayu moments within this match. Anytime we get them teamed up, it can be something special, and it usually is something special. Ultimately, Momo Watanabe turned her back on Asumi, smashing her with a signature baseball bat, and allowed Nakano and Iwatani to single out Asumi as Mayu hit the moonsault to get the win. Like I said, this is the best match from Stardom's week of matches. If you're looking for something to check out, I think this is the one to do so. But we continue on here because they have two more shows, and we got to talk about both of them. So here we are. Next up was the show in Hiroshima on Tuesday, February 11th, a holiday in Japan. This will be a simple look through. This wasn't a standout card by any means. Um, you had Azumi and Suzuki defeat Maika and Yuria Hime. The funny part of this was they used a Freedoms poster to do Suzu's signature kick on the outside to Yuria Hime. One of the Freedoms wrestlers were there promoting the show. Then you had Stars Hana and Koguma defeat Seriano and Narana Yagami. You had Yuna Mizumori and Aya Sakura team up to defeat Mei Sarah and Kira Kurgane. This is the match that I said kind of jumped out to me from this show, because I thought Aya Sakura was especially great. She actually ended up getting the win in this match for her team. She choked out Akira Kuragane to get the victory. But Mei Sarah, listen, I feel like it's been a little bit before I've been able to celebrate Mei Sarah to the levels that I want to. Mei Sarah is so awesome. Like you can forget because she's in a faction of just awesome, like plain and simple, right? Neo Genesis is so stacked. But she is still one of the most consistent wrestlers on the roster, one of the most consistent wrestlers on a day-to-day basis. So it's no shock that, when you get to see her shine, she does just that. I'm excited for her and Yuna Mizumori. It feels like Yuna Mizumori could be on her way to winning that high-speed championship. Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, and Momokogo defeat Cosmic Angels, Natsupoi, Tam Nakano, and Sayaka Carrara. Neo Genesis, Miyu Amasaki, and Starlight Kid defeated God's Eyes, Hanako, and Ryan. So a little feather in the cap for Amasaki one day before the Future of Stardom title reign. And then in the main event, Konami, Saikamatani, Natsuko defeated Shuri, Kyoko Kotatsu, and Lady C. Very simple main event here. By the numbers, as Konami continues to get back into things here on the cards. Obviously, her return was on this tour. She looks like Konami, which is great. Yeah, this match wasn't like this show overall wasn't too much of a standout. I think the other three shows are the ones you really go to. So let's head to Osaka for their overall Osaka show. So this show just came out. I had a chance to watch it all, but I did watch the main event. So that's important, of course. So Hate, Sayakamatani, Natsuko and Konami defeated the Cosmic Angels, Tan Nakano, Natsuko, and Sayaka Kurara. So it's the continuation of that story heading into the big tag match at Path of Thunder continues here. Cosmic Angels, Sariano and Aya Sakura defeated stars Hana and Momo Kogo. Stars Mayu, Iwatani, Koguma, and Hazuki defeated Micah, Rian, and Akira Kuragane and Yurihime. So it was a 3-on-4 handicap match, but it was the big four. I mean, the big three of stars going against Micah and three rookies. So you can imagine why they won there. Fukigen Death defeated Yuna Mizumori, which was a real shock. It sure does seem like we will be getting the Yuna Mizumori title win soon. Like I said, Fukigen Death was to be the ultimate test for Yuna Mizumori. And I do think Yuna Mizumori is going to be the one to beat Mei Sarah, but this was their way to push it down the line. And Fukigen Death will now challenge for the title on the March 3rd Korakuen. So Fukigen Death gets to sneak one reign in there. I could see Yuna Mizumori get her title win at one of the big shows. So that's always good. Queendom's a possibility. They could save and wait for that. And I think that's a real possibility of why you push this a bit down the road. Give her the big moment on the big show. Maybe they do it in America. I'm not sure if Yuna Mizumori is going to make the trip, but that's always a possibility as well after seeing the title change hands last year. Then you had God's Eye, Shuri, Lady C, Rana Yagami, and Kyoko Kotatsu defeat Neo Genesis, Azumi, Starlight Kid, Suzuki, Mei Sarah. This was to get God's Eye, a Artist of Stardom championship match when Lady C pinned Azumi in a very big shock. So worth noting there. And then, of course, the main event, the Future of Stardom championship match, Miyu Amasaki defending against HANAKO. They went to the 15-minute time limit draw instead of having either one get pinned. Instead of crowning a new champion, we went to the draw. I thought this match probably hit higher than my expectations when I saw it went to a draw, because ultimately for me, I didn't know what it would look like, because I think it's a big ask for these two wrestlers to go the big 15. It fell up. It had its moments of highs and had its moment of lows. There was this great moment where Amasaki hits a DDT off the top rope on Hanako, which was a big time spot. And listen, overall, I think these two have good chemistry. This was a match where Hanako worked to her power and her size, and I think that's kind of what you're looking for out of her, right? You don't want to make her just a Hameka replacement, obviously, but in many ways, that's what she kind of needs to be on this roster. And she worked towards that against an Amasaki who is so skillful and so exciting, and someone who I find to be really just the ideal person to be holding this future Stardom title right now. Just based on her matches and her output and her overall delivery, it's hard to argue against her being this champion. Now, I don't know if this current Stardom regime will hold to the record or not, but next month she does have to drop the title. So at Path of Thunder, we now know it will be Miyu Amasaki versus Hina. Hina, in her hometown, getting the hometown match. It sure feels like Hina will get the Future of Stardom title there by beating her former Queen's Quest partner. We'll have to wait and see, of course, but that's kind of what I'm hoping for right now. They did announce, like I said, title matches for multiple shows on here or over this week after Miyu Amasaki got her successful title defense. So, for those who would like to know, your title matches are as follows. So, Stardom Path of Thunder now looks like this on February 24th at Tochigi Light Cube. We'll have Miyu Amasaki defending the Future of Stardom Championship against Hina. You have Starlight Kid defending the Wonder of Stardom title against Rina. Hana and Saida will defend the Goddesses of Stardom championships against Mei Sarah and Suzuki. And then Tam Nakano and Sayaka Kurara will face off with Saya Kamatani and X, whoever her partner is. At New Blood 19, Waka Tsukiyama and Hanako will defend the New Blood tag team titles against the team of Nanami and Himiko from Diana. At the Stardom Nighter 2025 in Korakuen in March, it will be Mei Sarah defending her high speed title against Fukigen Death. So that is everything you need to know when it comes to those shows. Now let's look quickly at the upcoming weekend here for Stardom. Nothing to write home about necessarily, but as always, I will read you off the cards, give you an idea of what is going on for these shows. So on Saturday, they are in Takasaki for a show. It'll be Mayu, Iwatani, and Hana versus Suzuki and Akira Kuragane. Aya Sakura will be in a three-way battle against Yuri Hime and Fukigen Death. Natsupoi and Yuna Mizumori team up to face Tomoka Inaba and Rana Yagami. That should be a fun one. Hazuki and Koguma team with Momo Kogo to face Maika, Hanako, and Ryan. Azumi and Miyu Amasaki will face Hina and Lady C. Starlight Kid and Mei Sarah will face Rina, Azusa, and Naba. That one is very exciting. Maybe the best match of that. And then a preview tag of sorts. It'll be Tam Nakano and Sayaka Kurara versus teaming with Shuri and Kyoko Kotatsu to face Saya Kamatani, Natsuko Tora, Konami, and Ruaka. And then in Fuji on Sunday, it will be Mayu Iwatani and Hazuki and Koguma facing Natsupoi, Yuna Mizumori, and Yuri Hime. Ryan faces off with Akira Kotatsu and Fukigen Death in a three-way battle. Hi Mate, Maika and Hanako team up. They'll face Tomoka Inaba and Kyoko Kotatsu. Hanan and Momo Kogo will be in a three-way tag battle. They'll face Mei Sarah and Miyu Amasaki as well as Hina and Lady C. Starlight Kid, Azumi, and Suzuki will face Konami, Ruaka, and Rina as a preview tag for Starlight Kid's title match. And in the main event, Tam Nakano, Soriano, and Sayaka Kurara team up. They'll face Saya Kamatani, Natsuko Tora, and Azusa Naba. We'll see if we get the official partner for Saya Kamatani there. They will have two shows next weekend as well. Obviously, the big pay-per-view on the Monday. So we'll talk about more of that next week. But now that we are over with Stardom's 4-show week, we'll head over to TJPW, who held their Max Heart tournament, or the Max Heart tournament final over the weekend. I made sure to watch the majority of this show. It was a solid show, I thought, overall, for anyone that happens to dive in for the TJPW Korakuens or so on and so forth. I thought this was a pretty solid show with the right ending. So the show started off with Chika Nanase, Kaya Toribami, and Yoshiko Hasegawa defeating Kira Summer, Ivy Steele, and Shino Suzuki. Yuki Kamifuku defeated Mifu Ashida, so Mifu Ashida continues to go through the singles matches since joining TJPW. Next up, you had Raku and Ram Kaichao defeating Haruna Neko and Hiro Kiryu. And this is kind of where I started really diving into the show. Arisu Endo defeated Wakana Uehara in a solid singles match, 10 minutes and 32 seconds. Marisu Endo, listen, I've said this before and I'll say it again on this show. I really do think she is the best wrestler for my interest in TJPW right now. I just think she has such awesome performances no matter who she's in there with. And I had said last week, I think a win here against Wakana, which she got, would lead to her ultimately challenging Suzume for the International Princess title. And that's exactly what we got. So I'm very excited for that. Gonna be awesome. Miyu Watanabe defeated Uda Takami. This match was very entertaining. Poor Uda Takami got double axe to the chest, and that was enough to drop the match. Miyu Watanabe played very well in this match against the rookie. You had Yuki Ano defeat Haru Kazushiro. And then we kind of kicked into the big three matches here on the show, which included a Grand Princess preview tag. It was Rika Tatsumi and Toga facing Mizuki and Himawari. This might just be me, but as someone who's I am a big fan of Toga from what I've seen. Rika Tatsumi and Mizuki are obviously class. This was like the Himawari show out type match. She had a great showing, I thought, in this one. I mean, I know she's good, but this felt like the Himawari showcase against the likes of Arika Tatsumi. I thought she was awesome. There were, Mizuki and Himawari had a few tag team moves which really jumped off the page, including a lifted, assisted double stomp from Mizuki, which I thought was great. They really wrestled, a great preview tag here. This is what you want to see from Rika and Mizuki. They matched up a few times, but ultimately it was Rika beating Himawari in the middle of the ring. It always feels like lately this year, even in losing matches, the young stars, no matter what promotion it is in Joshi, they are standing out. If they're getting the pin, they get a chance to really stand out, and they're doing just that. And Himawari was the case here. I'm very excited for Mizuki versus Rika Tatsumi. That is as good of a match as you can make for Grand Princess. So, yeah, I really like the preview stuff here. This was a good tag match. Then you had Suzume defend the International Princess title against Jada Stone. I thought this was the best match on the show. I thought Jada Stone was very good in this spot. I like what TJPW does, right? They bring a foreigner in for a tour, and at the end, they often get a title match. And while, for the International Princess, it's not like it's usually the Princess of Princess. And that's a great way to see, like, okay, will we bring you back? I'll be shocked if they're not bringing Jada Stone back after this performance. I thought she did great. Suzume is the best babyface in TJPW, one of the best in all of wrestling. So seeing her, have her first defense and fight through this and take everything Stone gave to her before coming back and winning and hitting the cutter, I thought that was very good. I think with Suzume, it's just impressive how good she is sometimes because when people name the best wrestlers in Joshi, I think you can overlook Daisy Monkey a lot of the time, but I look at these two and they're just so good. And I loved this match, and I love that we're getting Suzume versus Risu Endo at Grand Princess. That's everything. That's exactly what I want to see. I think it's what everyone wants to see for this title, and it's going to happen on a big stage. So yeah, I can't wait. That's the number one match I'm looking forward to. They also announced on this show that Willow Nightingale, AEW's Willow Nightingale, will head back to Japan, and she will take part in Grand Princess 2025. She'll go one-on-one with Miyu Watanabe, a match that was supposed to happen back in 2023 but could not, as Willow could not head to Japan. That was originally supposed to happen at Wrestle Princess 2023, if I'm not mistaken. It didn't happen. Waited a long time. Was it 2023 or 2022? Hold on. Let me double check. The match was originally happened in 2022 at Summer Sun Princess. My apologies. Yeah, it was a whole year off. Summer Sun Princess 2022 was when Willow Nightingale was supposed to face Miyu Watanabe in singles action. Boy, oh boy, have things changed. This match back then was exciting. This match now is a potential top tier match of the year contender if all goes right. This is two of the best wrestlers in the world facing off. I couldn't be more excited. And then to just get to the overall Grand Princess card so far, in your main event, you had Shogo Nakajima and Hyper Masao winning the Max Heart tournament, defeating Maxi Impaler and Palm Harajuku in the final to win. That means one of my predictions are now correct. So huzzah to that. Got that one right. Very happy about that. I thought Hyper Masao and Shoko were great here. And I thought Max and Palm played the perfect role to, have these two overcome them in the end. Max is so good. They are so good at being the problem of the match for their opponents, right? And when I say that is this whole match was based around taking down Max. Everything the offense of Max and Palm was Max, right? Oh, let me use Palm to go on the offensive. Oh, let me just take out both of you. Like that was continuously what it was. And it was like, okay, how do Hyper Masao and Shoko Nakajima, where do they go? What do they have in their bag to take down the monster and friend? And ultimately it was Hyper Masao riding her bike down the stairs of Cork and Hall and crashing into both of them to really even the odds. Terribly dangerous spot, by the way. Was terrifying to watch. But in the end, Hyper Masao and Shoko Nakajima won when Nakajima hit the diving senton on Palm to get the win. So with that, Grand Princess will be Maki Ito and Miyu Yamashita defending the tag belt against Hyper Masao and Shoko Nakajima. That joins Rika Tatsumi versus Mizuki for the Princess title. It joins Suzume and Arisu Endo for the International Princess title, and it joins Willow Nightingale versus Miyu Watanabe. That top four is great. Like I am so locked in. Grand Princess can't get here soon enough. March 16th at Oda Ward. I'm pumped for that. It is worth noting TJPW does have a show this weekend, but it won't air until Wednesday. They're doing the train match where they wrestle on a train. It's insane. That match will be between. Hold on. That match will be between. I have it somewhere. It will be Miyu Yamashita, Maki Ito, Maxi Impaler, and Yuki Rai facing Mizuki, Aja Kong, Araku, and Miyu Watanabe inside the train. So, whatever that looks like, I will be watching. I'm already very entertained by the idea of it. I think it's fun. They'll also then wrestle later in the day in a regular match. So that should be fun as well. Looking forward to that. All right, moving on. Like I said, there's a lot to talk about this week. We had Sendai Girls. Sendai Girls had a 2-show weekend, which unfortunately comes with some bad news, which I'm heartbroken by. But we'll talk about it. So they had a show in Osaka on Saturday and then in Shinjuku Face on Sunday. On Saturday, you had Maria Kuga versus Yuna, where Yuna got the win. You then had Hiroyo Matsumoto defeat Miyuki Takase and Shin Sakura Hirota. But the show really kicked into another gear when Ryo Mizunami and Minami faced off with Jiro Hashimoto and Yuri Suzuki. I thought this match was very good. Like this match, this is the high quality middle of the card tag match that Sendai Girls has made a staple of their shows. It's exactly what you want to see when you watch Sendai show. I don't even know if people know this show happened because they had the show on Sunday, so they might have missed it. But this was very good. Hashimoto and Ryu Mizunami, fireworks, man. Like these two they just get it. They just freaking get it. They were great. Going against one another. So that was a good match. You had Takumi Roa defeating Miko Wada in 10 minutes and 34 seconds. I think them going for the sprint was the best option for this match. I didn't need a long 15-minute draw. No, 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 no. This was exactly what you're looking for. We just run at each other, hit each other with a bunch of nasty kicks, and call it a day. That's what this match was, and that's what this match needed to be, I think, to be different from the many matches they've, of course, had. They've faced off a lot, it feels like, recently, and this was another good one from those two with Takumi getting the win. And then in your main event, which I thought was a very good main event, you had, as you could see, if you're watching over on YouTube, Dash Sasako and Chi-Chi versus Bubble Bubble Momo Banana. Chi-Chi, I will keep saying it because this is my job. This is my job. Chi-Chi keeps getting better and better and better. Sometimes, when you invest in the future, you hit a home run. And I feel like Chi-Chi has continuously been one of those home runs. She is someone who is so, so good and gets better and better each match. This was one of the best performances of her career to date, I thought. When she faced off against Bobo Momo Banana, you saw her shine. You saw her deliver. You saw her be at the top with main event caliber. And then you have Dash on the other side. Dash is just no nonsense, awesome, such a beast. Like that's what she does. And then you have Bobo Bubble Momo Banana, who are just they were the best tag team of the year through this weekend. For me. And I didn't have it particularly close. If you look at my you know, match sheet, they are the top, and the other top teams involve them from the Sareeism tag. Like this is Eureka Oka and Miyu Momono have been sensational, and it was a tale of two matches. Really, this was a match or tale of three matches because they do have a match in Oz Academy we'll talk about as well. This was a match where they were really in cohesion with one another, and Oka ultimately pinned Chi-Chi with the SOS to get the win. Chi-Chi had a great kick out at the end of this match that, again, I thought lifted this to that next level. I actually thought this tag match was as good as the main event title tag match the next night, which may be a hot take, but that's just the truth. So I thought this was really, really good, and like I said, worth checking out. Then you had Chi-Chi defeat Yuna the next night in Shinjuku face. We're used to these matches by now. There was nothing runaway here that I can report back on. You have Veni and Hiroyo Matsumoto defeat Ryu Mizunami and Yura Suzuki. I thought this was quite a good undercard tag. Veni's just been sensational this year. When Veni is locked in like she's been this year, she is on the tier, and I said this last week or the week before, but she's on the tier with the Sarees and the Mayus in my heart. Truly. Like she is that great. And she has been so locked in. And even when she's having matches like this, which is an undercard match, it doesn't necessarily matter. She's still so great. Then you had Dash Sasako defeat Riko Kawahara. Very good singles match. Riko Kawahara is someone in the Joshi scene who I feel needs more overall love. And even more so than that, I think it just needs more overall usage. Like, I just think she needs to be on more shows. I know she's part of Marvelous, but I want to see her on more Sendai shows. She's on the upcoming show this weekend, and with the unfortunate injury to Miyu Momono, I'm hoping that both of the Magenta members kind of get involved more with Sendai girls. We'll talk about that injury a little bit here in a second, which, again, is a heartbreaker. We haven't talked about the other match where she clearly got injured from, and then the continuation in this match. But Dash and Rico was exactly what you want. Well, at one point, Rico punted Dash in the face. It was so real. 10 minutes and 29 seconds. A very solid singles match. Then in the semi-main event, it was Chihiro Shimono and Minami defeating Nanae, Takahashi, and Zones. This was quite good as well. Nanae Takahashi getting a chance to share the ring with Chihiro Hashimoto once again. Ultimately, out of this match, she got two challengers, both Chihiro Hashimoto and Zones want singles matches with Nanae. We'll see if those come to fruition. We don't know for sure yet. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's not much I could say about this match that needs to be said other than it's an eye in the ring with Chihiro Hashimoto. I actually thought Minami had a great showing here as well against Nanai. And I thought Zones, had one of her better showings in a while as well. I'm lower on Zones, but I hope that Zones makes some strides here. And, is she going to keep getting paired up with the likes of Hiro Matsumoto, Nai Takahashi, Chihiro Hashimoto? Like the strides are going to be made. The strides are going to be made. I think we're starting to slowly see them. These are the ideal matches she should be in to continue learning from the best. And then your main event, the Sendai Girls tag team titles were on the line. It's Red Energy. Mika Wada and Miki Takase defeat Bobo, Momo, Banana, Mio Momo, and Yurika Oka to become the new champions. A heartbreaker. Um, this match was very, very good, but this match ultimately carries a lot of sadness for me. Mio Momono was injured in the match she had earlier in the day in Oz Academy, and the injury only got worse in this match. Um, it was a UCL injury in her left elbow. At one point, she gets kicked during this match and has to essentially leave the ring. And from there, Yurika Oka has to essentially wrestle the entire match herself. Miyamoto is able to help a few times from there, but it's mostly Yurika Oka from there. And when I tell you that I want to applaud the performance of Yurika Oka, that is an understatement. Yurika Oka, through Bubble Momo Banana, has become become recognized among many from one of the most underrated to one of the most exciting young competitors in Joshi. I've always been a fan of Oka. It just always needed to have an opportunity with it. She always needed an opportunity. That's the thing. She always needed the chance. She never got the chance. And now with this tag team, she got the chance and she shined and she delivered and she just did such a great job. I was blown away at how good she was in this match because it's a tough situation. Sometimes matches fall apart when an injury like this happens, but she just kept going and she made it seem like this was the match plan the entire time almost. That's how great Oka did. And shouts out to Takase and Iwata, obviously. They're a great tag team in their own right. Um, the story was built behind Oka surviving and fighting and trying to steal this win. Ultimately, in the end, she got caught. She lost, but um, just an incredible performance to end what was a credible first year run for Bobo Momo Banana. Obviously, they'll be back. But as Marvelous announced, Miyamoto will be out 3 to 6 months with after getting surgery on her elbow. So the scene is hurt a lot by that. Missing out on Mio Momono and losing her presence is a bummer for the scene. It's a heartbreaker for the scene. It's a heartbreaker for me as just a fan of who she is. I think she is in that realm that I said earlier with the Veni, Sareee, Mayu. Like when she's at her best, there's no doubt about it. So these Sendai Girl shows will miss her. Marvel shows are gonna miss her, and I'm gonna miss her. But hopefully she has a good speedy recovery and she's back sooner than later because we need more Mio Momono in our lives. But this was a very, very good match. I will say that. And they had it. I thought they actually had the best match of the entire week in Oz Academy, which we'll get to here in a second. But just worth noting, Sendai Girls will have a show again this weekend at the Sendai Pit. Your card is as follows. You have Aya Sakura returning to Sendai. She'll go one-on-one with Yuna. You'll then have Hiroya Matsumoto and Riko Kawahara team up. They'll face Ryo Mizunami and Yura Suzuki. You'll have Zones go one-on-one with Dasha Sako. So a big moment for Zones to show where she is in her growth as a competitor. Then you will have Shiro Hashimoto and Minami face Red Energy. That will be your now main event because with Momono getting injured, Saree's lone match of February has been changed. It will be Sareee and Chi-Chi versus Eureka Oka and Maria of Marvelous. So obviously a great fill-in for Momono, and one that I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, wish it could have been Bubble Bubble Momo Banana to continue their tag run of the year, but Maria will be a fine fill-in to team with Oka against Sareee and Chi-Chi. So let's talk about that as Oz Academy tag title match. It was the AAA tag belts on the line as Momono and Yurika Oka faced off with Miyu Mizunami and Sonoko Kato. This match was great. Like plain and simple, this match was great. Momono clearly injured herself in this match, injured the elbow at the start. She did a diving drop kick and just landed awkwardly on her arm, and you could see her have to go get it taped up. So Ryo Mizunami and Oka, they worked through it from there, but Mio Momono then took the rest of the match. This was a Mio Momono all-star performance, as she does. This was so great. She just keeps battling through the injury that I think just made the match better in many ways, because you could tell she was hurt. She had it wrapped up. Like there was no hiding this injury, and yet she's performing like she again is one of the best in the world. Her and Kato have such incredible chemistry, and the back and forth that they had of, oh, Momo's gonna win, oh, Kato's gonna win, before Kato destroys her with a belly to back pile driver to get the win. But like this match, out of all the ones I've talked about so far, this match to me was the best of the entire week. It was again a masterclass from Bobo Momo Banana. H2D is also just sensational as a duo. I truly think that when you see them team up, it's always a wake up of how great they are for me. Like I think I underappreciate them. I know this. I know a lot of people do because I don't know how many people are watching Oz Academy, but they are so great. So listen, considering the injury and how long Mio Momono is out, I'm not as upset about the tag title losses. I'm just upset about her injury, and I hope again she comes back. But this was part of their story, is dropping both belts in one day. So when they come back in however many months, I hope that they can at least get some sort of gold back because they deserve it. But this was a great match. And the other match we're talking about from the Oz Academy show was FWC making their first defending against Aquino and Kohaku. Very good main event here. It's FWC, so duh. But FWC against newer opponents like Aquino and Kohaku, that's exciting to me. I think that's exciting to many others. They clicked against Aquino and Kohaku. Kohaku kind of brought the high speed to match with Koguma. Aquino brought the violence to match with Suzuki. It all meshed together very well. I think if you watch Aquino and Suzuki, you're like, oh, let's make this a singles match. That's kind of what I was feeling watching this. And you watch Koguma and Kohaku. Kohaku, I was down on her a bit last year when she started to come around and stardom a bit more, but she has shut me right up. That Saya Kamatani match at the beginning of the year that I never got to talk about, for the Regina de Wave Championship was great. And now this performance was very good as well from her. Yeah, this was awesome. As you'd expect, FWC did get the win when Kohaku hit the big splash, or not Kohaku, when Koguma hit the big splash on Kohaku to get the win. And the next challengers will be Moako Hanazono and Itsuki Aoki at the Shinjuku face on March 9th, which I will bring up is a Cinderella tournament date. So that's interesting. A Cinderella tournament date, mind you, that is 4 hours away from Shinjuku face. So we will see if Hazuki has a shot this year in that tournament, or that tag title match is now a giveaway to that potentially not happening. But obviously great to see FWC in the Oz Academy ring and absolutely destroying it. FWC is likely going to be my pick for tag team of the decade when it's all said and done. They've just been sensational. So hopefully this tag run goes longer and longer because I'm excited to see them against more and more opponents. Hanazono and Itsuki Aoki should be a fascinating face-off for them. And then let's talk about Seedling here. I just want to talk about the Seedling main event. The show overall was pretty good as well. I think it's worth checking out. Real quick, you had Haruo Matsumoto defeat Maria Kuga. You had Misa Kagura and Yuri defeat Itsuki Aoki and Miku Kane. That was a good match. Haruo and Maria was too. You had Honori Hana versus Waka, which was a fun little match. But the main event was Veni, Makoto, and Nagisa Nozaki versus Ayame Sasamura, Yumiko Hoda, and Unagi Sayaka. This match was great. Holy. This was electric. Truly, like truly electric. The tension, the energy between Veni and Hoda was second to none. It was like must see type stuff. They just wanted to destroy each other for the entire match, and they essentially did anytime they got their hands on one another. You add in the likes of Nozaki and Makoto and Sasamura and Unagi, and it's lifted up. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you though. I don't barely remember Unagi in this match. She was in it at the beginning, but she did get beat up, so she did her role to the best of her ability. But yeah, it was the Veni and Hoda stuff that just lifted this. Hoda ended up choking out Veni in the end to secure a title match. These two will face off for the Beyond the Sea Championship match, a match that I didn't expect to see, but a match I'm hyped for in a death match, if I'm not mistaken. So that's next month. That's the next Seedling show. Um, there's just nothing better than Joshi, folks. There's nothing better than Joshi this year. It's going to be sensational. So I can't wait for that. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, go see it. Hoda and Veni, sensational work here. Their title match is going to be unreal. Unexpectedly going to be so beast. Like I just didn't expect it to happen. It was never in my mind when I saw this match graphic, but boy, oh boy, am I locked in. I figured it would be Ayame Sasamura. So, which could still happen. I love Ayame, but Hoda title match, nasty death match. There was a nasty headbutt, blood, crazy. Yeah, but we're locked in. We're locked in. Can't wait. And now we get to Marigold. They had two shows this weekend or this week. I don't think either show was over the weekend. One on Monday and one on it's not Monday. I'm so wrong. One on Friday and one on Tuesday. I'm off, folks. I apologize. But I'm very excited for what they have upcoming. We'll talk about their Cork in here in a second. But two highlights, their Shinjuku Face Show, which I thought was one of their best shows to date. You had Naoshikawa defeat Ryoko Sakamura. You had the Dark Wolf Army, Chiaki and Nagisa Nozaki, defeat Riara and Rhea Seto. You had MIRAI versus Megaton in a very entertaining match. Megaton's got it, you know. Megaton has got the comedy shtick down, and the crowds love her. And her and MIRAI ultimately are leading to MIRAI versus Bozilla. That's what this match was made for. And oh boy, am I locked in. We'll talk about that here in a second on our preview. Then you had Tommy Hayashishita versus Yuki Minami. A fine singles match. Nothing to write home about. Yuki Minami is not bad. She doesn't have much excitement to her, and I think that's kind of like the whole thing for her right now. So that was tough. Then you had Nanae Takahashi and Sareee Yamaoka versus Chika Goto and Natsumi Shozuki. I thought this match was very good. Nanae and Sareee just continue to get better and better. At one point in this match, Sareee lifts herself up as Chica's going for the swing and just slaps her across the face. It's like, man, this wrestler's so awesome. Yamaoka did get the win with a German suplex. And then in the semi-main event, as you see here, if you're watching over on YouTube, it was Chanyota and Mai Sakurai successfully defeating Miku Ano and Naho Yamada. This was a very solid semi-main because ultimately it's leading to one big thing, and that is, of course, Chanyota challenging Mai Sakurai for the United National title. It was nice to see them back together as a duo, and I think and I'm hoping that that's kind of direction moving forward is these two stick as a duo and Chanyota's around more because I said it last week when talking about Chanyota versus Nanae. This could be her year. This should be her year. And I think it will be her year to really stand out more in wrestling. Her and Sakurai are a great team. And I'm very interested to see what their title match looks like, which we'll talk about here in a second. And then your main event was Victoria Yuzuki successfully defending the uh, Superfly Championship against Misa Matsui. This was the best match of the show. Up there as one of the best matches all week. Yuzuki, I'll sing the praises of her each and every freaking week if I have to. She just is so good. And she's so good, and Misa Matsui is so freaking good. Yeah, of course, this was great. Like, this was what the main event needed to be. That you see Victoria Yuzuki step up, you see Misa Matsui continue to perform, and it really, I think my biggest takeaway from this is just, again, we're seeing in real time Yuzuki make the strides and do so much, and people I think wrongfully are hating on Yuzuki for trying new things. I apologize if your rookies aren't trying new things, but she's trying new things and getting better at them each and every time. And this was another case of you just see her shine. This match also reminds me that Misa Matsui probably the most underrated wrestler on the Joshi scene now. Um, and what sets Yuzuki apart is the confidence. The confidence is setting her apart. She shows that confidence in this match, and it brought her to just such a good performance. At times, you thought maybe Matsui was going to win, um, but Yuzuki comes right back. Yuzuki ultimately wins with the moonsault trifecta 1, 2, 3 to get the win with just 11 seconds left to go in the match itself. This was what the Superfly Championship should be. It's not necessarily a high speed title match, but rather it is a strong pacing, quickness, but not high speed. There is a pace to it that is different from say a world title match or the United National title match, but it's not, with that 15-minute time limit, you kind of have to have that. This was great. It was really, really good. And after the match, Misa Matsui was taken away with Chiaki, which is leading us to, of course, what we know now as announced at the press conference. Misa Matsui has officially joined Dark Wolf Army, a new direction for her, one that I'm very excited about. As long as she is getting a new, unique push that I think will benefit her after the multiple twin star or not twin star, the multiple Superfly losses. I think that's very important to see how this pivot goes now for her. And I'm excited to see what she does. I'm such a big fan of Matsui's. Obviously, I'm such a big fan of Yuzuki's. Very good match. This is one of Marigold's best showings of the year. Probably their best since the big pay-per-view. And looking at the cork, and it looks like it'll continue. The momentum will continue through the Korakuen. This week they also had a house show. This one just got up on Wrestling Universe the day I'm recording this, so I didn't get to review it. But I'll quickly go through the results here. Now Yamada unfortunately was injured at the Shinjuku Face show, so quickly go through some results here. Misa Matsui defeated Rhea Seto. You had Naoshikawa defeat Riara. You had in three-way action Natsumi Shozuki, so different. You had Natsumi Shozuki defeat Yuki Minami and Ryoko Sakamura. You also had, as you see on your screen, big time matchup between these two teams. Mai Sakurai and Mikuano defeated Mirai and Chikagoto. I'm looking forward to watching that one. You then had Victoria Yuzuki and Utami Hayashishita get a win over the Dark Wolf Army. which was a big win for them heading into their tag title match. And then in the main event, Nanae and Sareee Yamaoka defeated Bozilla and Megaton. So those were your quick results from that show. But let's talk about this upcoming week of shows now here to close out the show. So this weekend, it will be Sareee Yamaoka's first singles match since her debut. She'll go one-on-one with Rhea Seto. You also have Misa Matsui go one-on-one with Riara. Now Ishikawa faces off with Ryoko Sakamura. Elsewhere on the show, you will have some tag matches as well. Mai Sakurai and Miku Ano, they'll team up against the Dark Wolf Army, Chiaki and Nagisa Nozaki. Mirai and Natsumi Shizuki team up. They'll face Bozilla and Megaton, a preview match for Mirai and Bozilla. Before we get to that, I almost spoiled it. And then you'll also have Utami Hayashishita and Victoria Yuzuki team up. They'll face Chikagoto and Yuki Minami. So another tune-up for them. That show is in the Sendai pit on Friday. So by the time you're hearing this, it's probably already happened. But hey, I had to tell the world about it, you know? So yeah, that is what to look forward to. Obviously, with the Korakuen coming up here soon, that is the big show that we're going to talk about here today, because there was a lot of news at that Korakuen, including the overall card. So here is your card for the Korakuen Hall show on Thursday, February 20th. Your card is as follows. You have Riara and Rhea Seto teaming up. They'll face Yuki Minami and Ryoko Sakamura. Now Ishikawa goes one-on-one with Megaton. That'll be an entertaining match. And then you kind of get into the greatness of what I think this card looks like. So in Misa Matsui's first official match as a member of the Dark Wolf Army, she will team with Chiaki and Nagisa Nozaki to face her former actress girls. You know, this was kind of the story of this match, is that you're seeing Miku Ano, Natsumi Shizuki, and Chikagoto be kind of ashamed of Matsui joining the Dark Wolf Army. And this is kind of your first full forming of a faction now in Marigold. Is the Dark Wolf Army has taken shape. They now have 3 members, and we're going to see our first peek at Misa Matsui as a heel. And they're going against a hell of a trio in Ano, Suzuki, and Goto, who are going to help get them over. I'm very much looking forward to this match. I'm very much looking forward to what Misa Matsui looks like as a heel. I'm having her win this match for Dark Wolf Army. I think it makes all the sense to give them continued momentum as they kind of take over. And give Misa Matsui momentum to make the change make the most sense for her. So I'm very much looking forward to that match. And then in a Crimson Red title challenger decision match, one-on-one MIRAI versus Bozilla. We've been waiting for this. This was originally the match a lot of people expected to be for the United National title. Ultimately, Miku Ano defeated MIRAI and then defeated Bozilla to win the title. So that didn't happen. Instead, we are getting MIRAI versus Bozilla. The winner will face Utami Hayashishita, presumably at the next Korakuen Hall show. So big time excitement here. This should be the show stealer, honestly. Like the next 2 matches are great. I'm very much excited for them. But this should be the show stealer. There's a Shinjuku face show on the 11th in March, and then the 30th, the Korakuen Hall show, the next Korakuen Hall show for Marigold. So I'm going to guess they hold on and wait for the Korakuen, because this is the big time match. Utami versus Bozilla is one of the biggest matches Marigold has built up. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I do think Bozilla gets the win here. I think we're going to continue to push MIRAI kind of down the way. She just comes up short once again. I think that's kind of the beautiful story for MIRAI right now. But this should be stellar. A stellar singles match right here. And then next up, we had the United National Championship match has been made official in the semi-main event. Mai Sakurai will defend against Chanyota. Oh boy, I cannot wait. This is the real. this is the real. My Sakurai is obviously going to successfully defend, but there is a story at place. If Chanyota wins, they have to buy 1,000 copies of her book and make it a bestseller. If my Sakurai wins, Chanyota becomes my Sakurai's personal trainer, which hopefully leads to them being a locked-in tag team moving forward, because that's what I would love to see. This is the biggest match of Chanyota's career. This is a big-time title match, one-on-one. I've seen what she does in Korakuen Hall in a big title match. I saw it last year in the New Blood Tag title match, Team of Mai Sakurai against Wingori. It's one of the matches I will never, ever let go because it was so great and so out of nowhere. Chanyota and Mai Sakurai, one-on-one, United National title, big-time challenge for Chanyota. And I like using this title for an outsider defense like this. So it should be great. Mai Sakurai is going to win. But shouts out Chanyota for getting the big opportunity. And then your main event, the double or the all champions tag team match. I mean, Nanae Takahashi and Sareee Yamaoka facing off with Utami Hayashishita and Victoria Yuzuki. I mean, I can't wait for this. This is going to be awesome. You're going to get your first true chance at Yamaoka and Yuzuki facing off in a major, major, major match. You're going to get more Nanae, which is just a beautiful thing, and you're going to get Utami. This feels like the first match where Utami needs to lock in since winning the Marigold World title, and I'm hoping this kind of leads to something. I don't know what, because obviously we know she's going to be facing the winner of Bozilla and MIRAI, but this should lead to something depending on who gets pinned. Maybe Sareee Yamaoka is pinning Yuzuki. It's probably Nanae pinning Yuzuki if they're not going to a time limit draw. But whatever it is, this is the best Korakuen on paper, in my opinion, in quite some time from Marigold. It's just a fantastic, fantastic card. You're going to see what Nanae and Sareee can do in a major, major title defense, and you're going to see what Utami and Yuzuki look like as a duo. This match should be fantastic. This show should be fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to it. But the last thing we get here, and that's next Thursday, so we will review it next week. Be pretty fresh review, which is exciting. Feels like we've been having to wait to get the reviews out here on this show, and then of course, after the press conference was finished, Nanae Takahashi announced that on April 14th at Shinjuku Face will be a Passion Produce event. I believe it is officially titled All's Well That Ends Well at Shinjuku Face. And the first competitor announced for that match or that show will be Momo Nakanishi. So that's another prediction I got. We love to see it, we love to see it. I thought I believed that Momo Nakanishi would make her return to the ring before Nanae retired, and I was right. I said Momo Nakanishi competes as part of Nanae Takahashi's retirement, and that's exactly what we're getting here. Nanamomo back one final time at the show. Nanae also announced she will be competing in another match on the show. So I can't wait. I really hope this is on Wrestling Universe. It should be on Wrestling Universe. It's a produce event by her, but it's Marigold too. So should be on Wrestling Universe, and I can't wait. Great to see Nana and Momo back. Listen, like I said, it's the best time to be a Joshi fan. You can hear how giddy and excited I am. But thank you everyone for listening. It was such a fun show. It was such a fun show to talk with all of you. It was such a fun show to review because there was just so much from the scene. Next week, we will be back with reviews of everything I've talked about. Senjo, Stardom, the big Marigold Korakuen, everything in between. And then we'll be previewing Path of Thunder for Stardom and a few other things as well. But before I go, please check out the Joshi Informer. The JoshiInformer.substack.com is where you can find each and every single one of those. The second edition will be out by the time this podcast is released. So be excited for that. I know I am. We put a lot of work into these each and every week. We're only 2 weeks in, but a lot of work goes into them, and your views, subscribing, whatever you do, it's very appreciated. So thank you. So with that, I'm Scott. This was the 5-Star Joshi Show on the Fight Game Media Network. Yes, I'm trying to hold in a sneeze. Thank you, everyone, as always, for joining me, for listening, for supporting. It means the most to me. Looking forward to next week. But until then, see ya.